I am going to call my colleague May, who's an organizer for This Walls Must Fall in Liverpool. She's going to take over for the next session. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, a big thank you to Lorraine for that beautiful poem, and yeah, for all of the powerful stories that we've been hearing so far. We know that lots of people all across the country are suffering like this, and that the system includes quite a few different stages. We've heard a little bit so far about the detention stages and the deportation stage, but we want to hear a little bit about reporting now. So I'm really glad to be able to welcome one of the organisers from These Walls Must Fall in Liverpool. Nacky should be with us, I think. Yeah, just want to acknowledge that Nacky hasn't really done loads of public speaking prior to being involved with These Walls Must Fall, and has been doing that a little bit lately, and this is maybe the second time or third time that she's spoken publicly. So a big thanks to Nacky for being courageous and speaking up. It's new, this great, hi, lovely to see your face, Nacky, welcome. Great, so Nacky, welcome, and thank you for being with us tonight. And I'd like to hand over to you to tell us a bit about what your experiences of reporting.
Yeah, right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nacky Kamushemo, and I'm from These Walls Must Fall, Liverpool. I'm going to talk about immigration bail reporting. I've been in the United Kingdom for quite a few years now, and people like me, our lives waiting for a decision from the Home Office or from the government about whether we are allowed to have our rights. When we are waiting for them, decisions to be made, sometimes 5 years, like in my case, I've been waiting for a decision for 5 years, and I've got a friend of mine who has been waiting for a decision for 18 years. All through this time, the Home Office requires on us, which is called the immigration bail conditions. So this is the conditions that we live on. Bail conditions are also imposed on people who are being punished for committing a crime. And in this case, our crime is that we were born outside the UK. Now, this is the crime that we have committed simply because we were born outside the UK. So the Home Office can choose what conditions they impose, and they choose to make us go on to reporting center to demonstrate. The Home Office are demonstrating it to us that our circumstances have not yet changed. It still remains the same. And that we have somehow disappeared or absconded. But how can we abscond while we don't have any traveling document with us? They have taken our traveling documents, so obviously we cannot abscond and go anywhere else. The reporting center in itself is the headquarters of the Home Office Immigration Enforcement. And I'm going to share personally my experience on going to report. The moment that you receive the call or you receive the letter in the post, that on its own, it's a hell of an experience. You start to feel sick, you start to feel tired, you start to deplete, to demoralize, you start to be stressful, you start to feel sick in your stomach, like literally feeling very, very sick. And all them days, like 2 or 3 days prior before your reporting, you don't even feel like eating. It's like you are in the unknown because you don't know what you're going to expect when you walk in there. So walking at the Home Office, and then you just walking there like a zombie. It's like you completely just out of your mind. You don't even know what is going to happen there, right there when you walk in there. You walk in there, it's very scary. You are sweating, heart palpitations. And I remember this one time when I went to sign, and I went to report, and I went with my son. And then my son asked me, he's 10 years old, and he asked me whether they are going to detain us or whether we're coming back home. How do you explain to a 10-year-old child that you are in the country and you are illegal? You don't have any settled status. So he is like wondering, so are they going to send us to a different place where it is unsafe? So himself, he's also scared. So they are treating my child the same way they are treating me as an adult, and he's only 10 years old. Why would my son be treated the same way as I'm treated? That is not right. So the government is punishing us because we are asylum seekers and we have no rights. We have no voice. We don't have any rights. We don't have anything to say. We don't have any decisions to make because we are asylum seekers. They just don't want us here. They just don't like us here, to be honest, because all that we are going through is signs of they don't like us here. They don't want us here. They just want to get rid of us in a way. We just have to go. So they must just end the hostile environment. That is one point. They have to end the hostile environment that they have imposed on humans. We are human beings and we have children that are really innocent, and our children are suffering as much as we are suffering. In my own personal case, for instance, you want to begin to build a life, like you just start to build a life, but because most of the time you are just emotionally drained, physically drained, spiritually drained, you don't really make decisions because they have taken the power off you, isn't it? You don't have any power, you don't have any decisions to make. You are just locked into these four corners and you don't have a choice to make because you are nobody. You doesn't exist. So what I'm really pleading is that we are here. Can you hear us? Can you see us? Can you feel us? Because tens of thousands of people have to go and sign at these offices every week, never knowing, they don't know whether just a wasted journey or a pointless interview, or they will be detained for that matter. So we don't know, people don't know, because all the lockdowns, people were forced, because you remember this last time, the people were, when it was locked down, people were forced to report in person again, even though we didn't have to during the lockdown. What's the difference when we have to go report now, whilst we didn't do it during the lockdown? At the same time, there were many deportation flights as the government announced the new immigration plan. People were forced, people were being rounded up according to their nationality, detained at the reporting centers from their homes or at workplaces. Reporting is an example of borders in our community. We shouldn't have any borders in our community. We should be allowed to move freely because we haven't committed any crime. To fight this, we are working on the Abolish Reporting campaign. And what are the actions that we are doing? We are doing actions locally, but we are linking with actions across the country. And we are building connections across Liverpool with people in communities, including counsellors, students, older people, younger people, all kinds of people coming together to fight. You know, this other time before I joined these groups, because I'm from this World's Must Fall, I was just isolated in my own corner or in my own house, because I never knew that one day I would stand tall and proud and in front of the Home Office, even for that matter, and just speak about the impact of it on my own personal life. We took over the streets on the day of action the other time, I think it was in June, walking and chanting and making people aware of our experiences. We walked down to the Home Office in Liverpool. The day was with people with experience of reporting, with people who recognize this injustice and want to resist it. We prepared a letter and I remember when we were in front of the Home Office, just to hand over the letter to the Home Office manager, I was like, wow, because you never see yourself up to that stage of going and in front of the Home Office where you normally go to sign, and this time around just to go in and hand in a letter that is having an impact on our life. But because we have this support system of the team that we're working with, it is doable and it happened. So we went to the Solidarity Knows No Borders Summit in London. That was, I think, in October, which was organized, the migrant organized. I traveled with two beautiful ladies down to London, and we had met lots of different groups from different parts of the country with different backgrounds and stories. And I remember the past few years that I've been on the system, or on the asylum system, that I've been on my own, and I didn't know that there are really people who can say, come, let's go, we've got each other's back. When we come together, we are powerful. We take power into our own hands. We want people to make others aware of our experiences. We want people to take action along us. We want to stand together stronger to resist the ways that the government tries to take our rights and our dignity. This is what we want. In conclusion, and quote unquote, in conclusion, solidarity is not charity. You can help us to abolish reporting as a start. I thank you.
I think lots of people are giving you a round of applause, Nacky. Thank you very much for your eloquent words. Really great, fantastic.
Thank you everyone for listening to me.
Amazing.